This is my favorite part of the song. Welcome back, guys, to another Bowjinjin Plays PSU Dark Souls edition. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed my little jig there. I promise I'm a good dancer. In my opinion. But like, yeah, so we're on our quest right now to save our instructor. It might appear at first glance to those of you just tuning in that, wait a minute, Bowjinjin, are you closing your eyes right now? Your instructor is right there, you know, she's the same and she's thick, right? But like, look at her eyes, right? Look at her motherfucking eyes, if I can get her to fucking stay in place for a second. Right? Her eyes are purple, my friend. Are Karen's eyes purple? Are they purple? They're not purple, mate. They're more like navy blue or something. They're more blue, right? So this here is the Divine Maiden, Mireille, right? Which I kind of outlined in the previous episode as being a portmanteau, if you will, of Kirei, which is beautiful in Japanese, and Mirai, which is, oh god, Mirai, which is future in Japanese. No! Oh my goodness. Okay, well, it seems that we have to do this briefly again. So I guess this can be a bit of a recap episode for you guys watching, right? It is like, you know, last time on the last episode of Bowjinjin Plays PSU Dark Souls Edition, we defeated a boring boss. And that is all that we did, and thank God that I didn't do anything else in between saving and the point at which I died, because I would have restarted this episode probably. But no. Okay, he's dead. Nice. We cleared the trial. We're gonna get a double saber. I can't wait to get the. I can't wait to get the photon art for it. Double saber. Yeah, because the photon art for the double saber was pretty cool. But yeah, so look at this shit, man. You know how I was egging on this game last episode, right? Because we did that little like wave race 64. Is it called Blue Storm? I think it's called Blue Storm, right? The GameCube one. Yeah, like we did that little section on a hovercraft, right? The jet ski, right, thing, and I was like really like harping on it, but but you know, again, like this game comes back with like this fucking beautiful scenery, you know. It's funny that like, because I was actually talking about the history of, I was kind of giving a bit more of my own commentary on the history of Sega last episode, right? And I feel that Sega, and I may have said this already before, right? Like, forgive me if I have, but like, Sega has never been a really good game developer, in the sense that like, there are some people like who specialize in gameplay, right? You know, like for example, right? What games are everyone playing these days? Like, it's things like, you know, Overwatch and like League of Legends and Call of Duty and things like that. And even like, you know, I play Tekken on this channel, right? I guess I am kind of a Tekken fan, right? At least I like Tekken, right? But you know, but those games obviously, or rather those franchises, have been long-standing in the fact that they can make really nice games, right? They may not be very novel in some cases, right? Call of Duty. But like, what they do is that they make games with really polished gameplay, and they cater for a specific, you know, like a specific niche of gamers who want, I say niche, but like people who prefer games, who prefer gameplay over anything else, right? Like they can't play games that have bad game mechanics, right? But like, and even things like Dark Souls, right? The whole like Souls franchise, right? That's not really a competitive game like the rest of those other games are, right? But like, but it is like a game that like people praise for like like the fun that you have when you play it, right? Even a game that is related to this, right? Which, funnily enough, is by Sega, right? And I guess I could also comment on that, right? But like Yakuza, right, is a very, very close, I feel, experience to this game, right? In a sense. I mean, I say it's close. I guess you could argue that it really isn't close, right? But like, there are many similarities, right? AKA, like there's combat involved. There's RPG elements. You can do weird side quests. Like there's like these goofy like dialogues between characters, right? But like I feel that like Sega has never really been a company that specializes in making games that center around gameplay. Gameplay has never been their forte, right? Even with some games where like they really had an idea like for a type of game. Like, for example, right, I played Nights into Dreams on my channel, and that game was all about the gameplay, right? It kind of was conceived as a type of experience where you fly through the level, and they ended up like putting like an arcade-based system on it where you rack up points, and then there's leaderboards and stuff like that. Obviously, you know, I'm not, you know, but then they, in typical Sega fashion, like they put in all of this shit like artificial life, like the Nighttopians, and you know, they made a Christmas night little demo disc thing, you know. Yeah, but like, I think it's a fair argument to say that Sega's never been an expert at making good games in the sense of gameplay, right? But what they are good at is creating experiences, right? Why are there so many fucking Sonic fans and you know, like Phantasy Star fans and Nights into Dreams? Even there's like a really devout group of people who really love Nights into Dreams, right? I think they're still there, right? And they still love Nights into Dreams. And like, why do people love Sega so much? You know, because they know how to make something an experience that really touches you, right? So like, their strengths are in design, as in like artwork design, like concept art, music, like aesthetics, right? Aesthetics has really been the forte of Sega. You know, if there's one thing that I always say, like aesthetics, right? Because all of those things fall under that, right? You know, the design of things, the theming, it's all aesthetic stuff that Sega is like. I don't know if there is another company in history that can best Sega in this regard, right? You know, a lot of companies have made stellar games over the years, some of which are among my favorites, but like, there's just something about Sega games. Like, okay, this is the thing, right? I wouldn't say that Sega games are the most pretty. You could argue that like some other other game companies have made much more like visually appealing games, right? So it's not necessarily in the sense of making games that are like just really well done art, like, you know, like the graphics or like the intricacy of like the design. It's not on that front. It's rather that they make games that when you see them, you're like, oh my god, this is so enchanting, or this is so cute, or this is so there's something mystical about it, right? And that is what Sega, in my opinion, have done in the past. and that is their legacy. It's they have always made games that have a certain aesthetic appeal to them that isn't predicated on like how good the visuals are, but rather like what they make you feel, like the themes that they choose, the kind of memories that they give you. You know, it's that kind of thing, right? And like I say, like I'm a fan of many things, but like at the top of my head, I can't really think of another games company that have done that specific thing as successfully as Sega has over the years, right? Obviously, Sega's a much different beast now. Like it's, you know, it's the same as like Konami and Capcom and all these other companies. Like, you know, they syndicate with, you know, and like, and you know, they become something else. They become like businesses, right? But the thing is that like, in its heyday, Sega really, Sega was like the makers of dreams. Like you know, the teller of stories and the makers of dreams. I feel like I don't. The thing is, right, that is what I would say is without a doubt Sega's forte. Right, is like kind of creating an experience that kind of leaves a very strong impression on you. Right, despite the fact that it may not be the most visually like impressive design or game look. Right, but like, I wouldn't say it's very good at storytelling. Like, you know, the thing is that it's different than storytelling, right? Because then like you can then ask the question, okay, so what exactly do you mean by storytelling, right? Because by storytelling you could mean that like they write a story that is very believable and has a degree of integrity, aka like there's a minimal amount of Deus Ex Machinas and like shit that doesn't make sense and plot holes and stuff like that. Like, if that's the angle that you're approaching storytelling from, then no. Sega's pretty crappy, in my opinion. You know, as you can tell from this story, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, you know, some bad guy killed some innocent doctor guy who was bleeding from the scalp, and then that another bad guy, or seeming bad guy, is like fucking, like, you know, like beaming us evils and being like, ha, you're a chump, and then he randomly hands an artifact to the other bad guy, and then is in like great surprise when the other bad guy is saying, ha, guess what, I played you all along, sucker, and he's like, fuck you, you know. It's like, what the fuck is going on, right? So it, like, from a technical standpoint, the story is all over the place. You know, you compare this with, like, I don't know, what's a game with like a story that everyone loves, right? Supposedly The Last of Us is like, everyone is like, that game is so, like, the story is so, it's so good. Like, I don't know if that's a good example, right? But I'm sure there are other examples of games that have stories that you stand back and you're like, that was a very, very well told story. You know, it was very believable. The characters were very like three-dimensional and very interesting, and you know, all of that stuff, right? But like Sega, it's a game about you're like a Zeldinch like type, like archetype guy, right? And you're happy-go-lucky, and you have some weird, sad backstory to you, but like you just want to become a guardian and do cool things with your mate Hugo from the Great Britannias, you know, but then like you have a scene where like your sister, where you go shopping with your fucking sister, and you're like, oh my god, I'm shopping with my sister. Thanks for giving me this game. This is going to be a cherished memory for it, I'm sure, like when I'm like 20 years older, right? But the irony is that you come back to it, like just like I did in this series, right? In this Let's Play, and I'm like, I feel like I haven't felt this like warm over like a stupid sister and brother shopping excursion for like I don't know how long, right? And Lumia was like, you know, you can do it, like, you know, I believe in you, big brother. You might be a bit clumsy, but like just have faith, you know, do our dad proud, or whatever the fuck she said. And I'm like, that is it. That's what it is, right? Yeah, Sega just knew how to make heartwarming games, right? And I'm all about heartwarming stuff, in case you didn't know, right? You know, I'm at the stage of my life where like I'm pretty much, I'd rather play this, which is frustrating to play. I'm not gonna lie, right? I said I wasn't gonna shit on this game, right? But like to play it, it's not as bad as, you know, it's not that bad, right? But like it's not as exactly like a fucking roller coaster ride all the way through, right? You know, occasionally you have to do that stupid wave race section. You know, you have to like fight the same fucking annoying boss that flies in the air and doesn't come down. Speaking of which, another fucking enemy that I love, right? Stupid worm things that dig underground and leave themselves invulnerable to your attacks for like 2 seconds while you twiddle your thumbs, right? Is that shit fun to play? You could argue that it isn't, right? And I can confirm that it's not that interesting or fun, right? But what I feel when I play these games, not only do I feel nostalgia, but I'm like, I just get this really like heartwarming feeling playing this game, and I have a good time. Whereas I could play Overwatch. I've never played Overwatch, right? But like, I could play Overwatch, and I'm sure I'll have fun in the same way that like, well, I play Tekken, right? And I have fun. Tekken's an exception because I'm a fan of it, but like, let's say I start playing some kind of competitive game that everyone plays, and everyone's like, this game is cool, right? This game is really, really good, you should play it, like everyone's playing it, and I play it, and maybe I'm like, yeah, you know what, the mechanics are fun, the design is awesome, you know, they really did a great job on the art style, you know, it's just, yeah, I can't find fault with this game. But when I play it, and then I'm like, okay, I just spent some time playing a video game, and I guess I had a good time, right? I can't say I didn't, but like, but then life goes on, right? Whereas if I play this, it's like, it's not as well designed. It's not as fun in some parts, right? It's a little bit more frustrating, but like the feeling that I get when I play this game, to me, trumps like playing 1,000 rounds of Overwatch. And I know that's a very controversial statement to make. Like, I am in no way, shape or form trying to devalue anyone else's opinion or what they like, right? You know, if Overwatch is your world, rock that shit, man. Like, you have, and plus you have plenty of other people who agree with you, right? But like, just from my opinion, not to say that I don't like games like that or that I will never play those games, but like, just, I'm in a stage of my life where like, it's like, you know, if you played one game, you played them all. In the same way that if you've done this one thing, you've done it all, right? When you reach a certain age, like I have, right, you know, it's like, it's not that I like being old, but like, it's just like, you reach this age, like, I'm almost 30, right? And you've played this game, you've played RPGs, you've played real-time strategy, you've played fighting games, you've played platformers, you've played narrative-driven, plot-heavy storyline games, right? And you've seen a great variety of games, right? And like, for you, seeing a game that, you know, yes, you know, they have progressed and they've polished the graphics and they've polished the gameplay, and occasionally they might do something interesting with the gameplay. I'm like, oh, I'm going to try that out because it looks really cool, right? You know, like, they introduced a new gameplay element, and I'm like, wow, that's really cool, I'm going to try this, right? Anyway, let me quickly wrap up what I'm saying, and I'll get back to the game, but like, yeah, and like, you know, I might play it, and I might have a good time, but at the end of the day, it's like, I come back to square one, and I'm like, okay, well, what ultimately, like, made me feel better? Playing another game that is really cool, right? It's really, really cool, right? But like, play it and it's just an experience, or I play an oldie like this from my childhood that I loved, right? And like, yeah, I come back to it and I realize that it's flawed, really, really flawed, right? But I still feel something amazing, and that's my thesis, right? Hand that in. Hopefully the invigilator gives me a good mark, right? At like Bowjinjin's thesis on why, you know, artistic old games that aren't necessarily as well designed are more fulfilling than the games that are new and shiny new graphics and stuff like. Anyway, this is not the last time I'm going to talk about this kind of thing, right? This is my whole philosophy. Not just in terms of video games, but in life, right? It's like, I'm after more deep things, you know, and so like, I struggle with finding new stuff, right? Because like, I just like the things I like. But anyway, rant over, let's carry on with the game. Is that the old Hakura temple?
Yes, it is. Yes, that's it. It has been renovated and is currently being used as a technique research facility.
My falsetto is really not good today.
Let's hurry up and get Karen.
Roger. Let me deal with these chumps first. You know what? I think I might, for the rest of my recording session, just have God Hand. Because whatever, man. Whatever. You know, I've already done enough. You know, I've already done enough, like, you know, being scared to death. You know, I found after playing this game. Oh, I love this area. I love this area. This temple area. It's cool. It's got a really cool music as well. But yeah, it's cool. I love this. I love this game. After all I said, right? I just have to be honest, right? Like, the game has aged like fucking cheese, right? Or should I say old milk, right? Into this fetid mess, right? In certain areas, but like still, I look at some other aspects. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I'm playing this fucking game. I'm so glad I'm playing this fucking. Ah, this track. Ah, okay. I'm so glad I'm playing this game. Anyway, save the game, and I can finally. You know what? I will turn it back to 1 HP. It's just I get scared because I'm gonna die and I'm gonna lose a lot of progress, but I've got 10 more minutes. Hopefully I can do something in those 10 minutes. Yeah, I think this is... I really like the stage. It's just really cool. Okay, these guys explode. Oh god. Okay. I'm guessing I had to open those boxes because there's 2 cards. God. And I'm guessing that killing these guys is going to yield the other card, right? No? Okay. Well, I guess I should have expected that because, like, if it's boxes, then like it tends to be a case that you don't get. You know. That you don't get like a key card usually because you got items already. Like, usually the logic of this game, or this type of game, like, you know, Phantasy Star, is that like you only really get one significant thing in each room. It's rare that they put like more than one like key item in each room, right? So like if it's items, then there's no key card. If it's key card, then usually there's no item. It depends. Obviously, like what I've said is it can be. It's not entirely accurate, I'm sure, but. I'm getting some like Motoi Sakuraba vibes from this track as well. Motoi Sakuraba, in case you don't know, is the composer for a lot of JRPGs like the Tales of series, Star Ocean, and a few other series as well. Tri-Ace games predominantly. Do Tri-Ace still exist? I think they do because they made Star Ocean 5, right? So they still must exist. I haven't played that game, but yeah, and I won't be playing it on my channel, in case you're wondering, because it's like a full-blown RPG. And you know what you know about JRPGs is that they're grind fests, right? And if you're not serious about playing RPGs on your channel, you probably shouldn't dabble, right? Because you will probably shoot yourself in the foot halfway through it, because you'll be like, why did I start this thing? I'm on episode 50 right now, and I see myself doing another fucking 100 episodes, right? So like, I'm not, and plus it's not the most interesting thing. I'll leave it to people who have a following, and but yeah, I myself will not be playing those, like, any RPGs on this channel, but like, except for ones like this that like are shorter and more action oriented. But yeah, Star Ocean is great. Like, Star Ocean 3 is my favorite Star Ocean game of all time. Star Ocean 4 I also played, and while that game was very, very slapdash in many ways, like, I still liked it. I still played my way through it and completed it, right? So, but 5, like, I've read reviews on it, and like they say that like it's competent, but it's not really groundbreaking. And as soon as I heard that, I'm like, okay, so if game critics are saying that shit, then it's probably not worth me playing, right? it's probably not worth me playing. So I'm gonna pass it, even though like Star Ocean is a series that I like, right? Because it's kind of akin to this, right? I like sci-fi, especially the way the Japanese people do sci-fi. Like it's usually really cool, you know, and aesthetically pleasing, right? If there's one thing that the Japanese know how to do, is to make aesthetically pleasing art, you know. If they're anything, you know, they're probably not like a global superpower. Let's be honest, right? They might think that they should be, but they're not a global superpower, right? I think they're more of an artistic nation. As a nation, they make really great art, right? At least that's what I respect them for, right? Like anything that the Japanese make in general is just full of care and consideration and intricate like focus, you know, all of it. And they really, and the best thing about it is like I was explaining, like about this whole thing, the whole reason why I play a flawed game that really no one else is playing at this point, right? And I feel good playing it is because like they know how to make stuff that has an effect, right? It's not just like improving the industry standard, which is the mentality a lot of people over here have, right? Which is like to make a game that has better graphics than the last generation, or like that is more complex and more blah blah blah. And it's like, I think the Japanese's focus, obviously they try to do all of that stuff as well, you know, you have to improve, but like the thing is that like their focus is more on like making something that people will enjoy, as opposed to making like, you know, to doing something that's really cool or wowing people, you know, kind of a thing, right? It's just different, right? You know, like it's very like it's subtle in the sense that like people don't really talk about it, right? You know, people don't really talk about it, but like, you know, it's really down to the motivation, and this is something I harp on about a lot as well, is the motivation of people when they make things, particularly art, right? Because you can make, you know, there's nothing wrong with making stuff that is going to wow people and that has like you know, and that like is going to have a statement, you know, like a lot of people make games or art that makes a statement on something, you know, or brings awareness to something, or is progressive, right? But like I feel, and I feel that that's the kind of primary goal of a lot of Western themed producers. I'm not going to say all Western producers, right, or developers, or artists, right? But I will say that like at least in the mainstream, like the kind of primary thing that people are aiming to do is to show people something, you know, like to wow them in some like dimension, right? And it's like the Japanese, at least, right, don't do things that way. At least, again, in the mainstream way, which is interesting, because you could say that like both, you know, both, like, you know, any culture has has people who make stuff that is more geared towards like awareness and progression and technical excellence. But and there are also people who strive to make stuff that is more enjoyable and more like sensual, let's just say, right? But the interesting thing is that the mainstream, what is acceptable in the mainstream is different between Western style media and Eastern, at least Japanese style media, right? Because then within East Asia you have like different, you know, you have different, oh my god. You know, you have different, like, obviously countries and nations, right? You know, Japan, South Korea, China, and then all of the other countries in that continent. But yeah, you know, point I'm trying to make is that, you know, I wasn't really trying to make any point really. It's just that the Japanese, they really know how to make stuff that's fun, and it's enjoyable, right? They just make stuff that's enjoyable, right? That's the start, right? It's funny that they have a corridor and they didn't even bother to put like an invisible wall there. They just put like an actual wall there. It's funny. Again, like, yeah, like I'm criticizing the game, but obviously, like, you should know by now that when I do that, it's either trying to be funny in a vain attempt, or it's just like I'm trying to make conversation, right? Again, like it doesn't change the fact that I love this game and this series and all this other stuff, right? That I poke fun of, right? Okay, so I haven't been this way yet. It would appear. It's like a mishmash between like wait, have I been here already? Yes. Okay. Between like James Bond. It has that James Bond vibe to it, right? But it also it's Oriental, right? It has like the cascades, right? And it also sounds futuristic. It's so cool. I think this is another Fumiya Kumatani track. It sounds like one of her tracks because she likes like kind of like interesting rhythms and just the way that she writes her bass lines and like melodies and stuff like that. It really sounds like what she made. But yeah, she's one of my heroes for sure. Fumiya Kumatani-san. If I could meet her one day, that would be so cool. I mean, in my fucking dreams, right? But like, I don't know. I guess a guy can dream, right? If one day, like, I kind of get successful enough, I mean, not that that's really even that even should be like a real motivation, like, or like a real gatekeeper to meeting someone. But like, I feel like it would be better if that were the case, right? Is if like I had my own thing going before I met people like that. I don't know. I don't even know what I would say, honestly. Like if I met someone like Fumiya Kumatani, it's like she'll probably just be like going about her life, and I'll be like, I love you, and she'll be like, okay, thank you, you know. But yeah, it's always like an interesting kind of prospect of like, or like, you know, a thought in terms of like how you're going to like approach people that you admire. Because, you know, you admire them and you almost want to be part of their lives, but then at the same time you're like, but what exactly can I offer them? And what exactly do I expect from them when I actually do meet them and they turn out to be probably completely normal, right? And I'm like fucking geeking out, like, oh, you remember the soundtrack you did for Phantasy Star Universe? And don't forget, like, Sonic Adventure 2 as well. Like, among some of my favorite tracks of all time. and you know, oh, I gotta go up here, I think. Let's see. Yeah, but yeah, it's one of those things, right? It's like you kind of want to connect with them and thank them and that kind of thing, but it's like at the same time it's like, okay, but like, what are you gonna do when you meet them? Like, say hi, have a conversation, you know, maybe like you want to collaborate with them or something, but then what are you going to collaborate on, you know? So it's a bit of a conundrum, but where am I going? Oh yeah, okay, this way, cool. Yeah, it's already past. So I think I'm gonna keep carrying on this episode because I want to at least finish this mission by the time I finish recording today's session. I can't get past this, can I? Yeah. Okay. It's like the ruins all over again, right? It's the fucking ruins all over again. From my Phantasy Star online playthrough, where I just got lost for like an hour in the ruins. The same thing is happening here. Okay, there wasn't anything over there. I think I have to go down there, right? I've got to go downstairs. But how do I get downstairs? I'm sure I went downstairs somewhere. Okay, and that was nowhere, right? Yeah, it's blocked by that thing. Right? Can't get past it right now. Okay. I mean, yeah, another gripe, I guess, is like sometimes they don't show when areas are blocked off. They just do the whole map like that. And it's like, well, you could at least show that the area is blocked off, right? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's only a minor thing. Okay, so I went downstairs. Is there a way for me to go over here? I need to get down there. So how do I get down there? Okay, well I think I'm retracing my steps here. Or do I actually have to go into this area? Is that what I'm to understand? Like I actually need to. Yeah, okay, so this is area 2. Wait a minute. I can't go. I can't get over there though. That's the thing. I can't pass this wall. It's such a fucking cock tease. You can see, like, you could jump over that shit, right? You know, but you can't go through it. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, this is definitely a Fumi Kumitani track. It's got her style all over it. It's just like the interesting rhythms, like, you know. Okay, well, I'm gonna try going in here, right? Maybe yeah, this was a dead end. What the fuck is going on here? They just randomly put a dead end hallway in this place. She has a... Oh, that's a rod. I thought it was a partisan. I was like, she has a fucking partisan? Okay, gotta focus. Are there any stairs around here? Or anything of the like? Can I go around this thing? Can't. This is turning into like Dark Souls edition now, in the sense that I'm just running around aimlessly for a long time. But I guess it's to be expected because like we're starting to get further on in the story. I don't know how much of the game is left, but I'm guessing it's not that much. Maybe a few more things, a few loose ends in the story, if you could even call them loose ends, right? Isn't the whole goddamn fucking thing just loose ends? But yeah, a few things, you know. Hopefully I can maybe get down here somewhere. Some stairs over there. Yeah, this part of the song is very Motoi Sakuraba-esque. But anyway, I'm sure they kind of rolled in the same circles, right? They're all like game producers, right? Okay, so that's where I came from, right? So like I should be able to go over here. Is my thoughts, right? Maybe I just got confused and it said maybe I have to go back to A1 or something. I'm not sure. If this says A3, I'm gonna be so annoyed at myself.
Stay where you are. All those not authorized by the Light Master himself are forbidden here.
Damn, wouldn't you know it? Leave these guys to me. Just go find Karen, okay? Good luck, Hyuga.
Well, gentlemen, I hope you're prepared.
I'll be finished with you fools in no time.
I've not only got a stiff upper lip, I have my pinky finger up as well. That's right. You're no match for a Britishman. And after this, I have 2 plates of fish and chips with your faces' names on it. Yeah. Okay, so I feel... Oh god. I feel that, like, we're probably getting close, right? So I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to end this episode here, right? Hopefully this is the right decision, right? Because I could have gone a bit further, but, like, I'm going to end this episode here. So cool. When we come back, we'll carry on through the Hakura Temple, is it called? Yeah. We'll go through this cool place, and hopefully at the end of it we'll find Karen and see what the hell is going on. Like, what is the Divine Maiden and Karen's father up to? Like, is he in cahoots with fucking Magashi? I bet you that's the case, that fucking scoundrel. You know. So next time we will find that guy, we'll print his face on some piece of paper. We'll first dip his head into a vat of ink, and we'll fucking slam that shit into a piece of paper, you know. And we'll serve him, right? So cool. When we come back, we'll do that, and we'll rescue off the constructor, and everything will be hunky-dory, peachy, lychee. Wow, it's been a while since I've eaten this. Anyway, so cool. I hope you guys are, as usual, enjoying this, and I will catch you guys next time. I hope you are doing well, and you are continuing to do what you love, and all of that good stuff. So cool. Until next time, guys. Peace out. Bye.